Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy car enthusiast and Dave's fiance, Dustin reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are Inside Movies Galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. I am one of your hosts, but today we are continuing the themed month of movies that you might feel foolish enjoying. But being able to share that you actually enjoy these movies is another story. So, the first one that I could think of right off the bat of those that I haven't covered yet is my choice that I put forward for this month, and that is called Legally Blonde. And that is because I consider this a straight chick flick. The kind that only girls, high school cheerleaders, who only think about the prom and, their new nails and the next beauty salon, whatever go and see with their clicks and all that jazz.
Keep digging, Dave. You're just getting...
Sorry, but this is one of those movies that for the longest time I thought was strictly for the chicks, because they often found themselves in a world of their own with brain cells that only lasted maybe half a day, but. Yeah, this just so happens to be one of those movies that is kind of a guilty pleasure because it shows that normally what you would think is a chick with less brain power than that would toot your own horn. Actually went against the grain and proved people wrong, So I think that's kind of why I like it. It showed that not everyone is someone that you can look at them and be like, okay, you're a book. I'm going to judge you by your cover, type of thing. So, and I think this movie was generally liked at the time too. So, of course, I was mistaken that Reese Witherspoon actually. I don't know why, but I always thought that Reese Witherspoon actually directed this film. I was mistaken. So, I do believe that it is. Directed by someone named Robert Luketic.
Yeah, their first feature, I believe. I think I saw they did one short film before this.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there might have been a short film that had to do with Legally Blonde for this, but that's okay.
No,
Um,
it had nothing to do with Legally Blonde. I'm just saying Robbie Luketic had one short film before this.
okay, so this was technically his debut.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, so I got that part right. At the time, I heard that it was Reese Witherspoon's first and first lone endeavor as well.
It's considered the first film that she headlined as an
Yes.
actress that was a big hit.
Yes.
That's the
Okay.
big, yeah.
That's what I was remembering, and I kind of like misconstrued that the director this was his first and not her first, or but anyways, I'm now recorrected about who directed the film in my mind and who starred in it and whatnot. And I gotta say, Reese Witherspoon was hot at that point in time, and I do still think that she's kind of like Miss Sweet Home Alabama to this day. But
She hasn't dabbled in directing yet, although apparently she has an upcoming project. She did recently get into writing murder mystery fiction with a book that she supposedly co-wrote with Howard Owen.
huh. Well, and she's
no,
heavily into
Harlan
executively
Coben, sorry,
producing stuff.
Harlan Coben, sorry.
And I know she's heavily into to executively producing
Right.
some stuff.
Right. Yeah, she's produced a few things. And she has her book series, like what do they call it? The Reese is it the Reese Witherspoon Book Club? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But in any case, let's see what IMDb says about this film. It was filmed in 2001. It had writers Amanda Brown, Karen McCullough, and Kristen Smith. So it did have some female writers behind it. So there's definitely heavily a female presence.
Well, based on the book by Amanda Brown, which I think was loosely based on her experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what IMDb says about the movie. Fashionable sorority queen Ellie Woods follows her ex-boyfriend to law school, where she discovers that there is more to her than just looks. So, that being said, let's go around the room and see if there are those who have not seen the movie, first time. Let's start with you, Tammy, since ladies first.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this movie probably about 2-3 times or so.
Okay.
So it's nothing new.
And what were your thoughts about it?
It's fun. I mean,
what about the first time that you saw it? Were you surprised? Did it amuse you?
The first time I saw it, at first I was like, okay, this is typical. Okay, what's gonna be so great? Sorry, but she was, I guess, what my school called a preppy. Oh, look at my nails, and my hair is perfectly cut and perfectly combed, and my clothes are perfect, and I got all my little girly friends, and I saw enough of that, and I was just like, okay, oh well, it's on, I'll watch it, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So yeah, kind of like at first I was doing the normal like eye rolling, like, oh boy, but it like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, it surprised me. I thought it was cool how she turned things around. So If I didn't find it like fun and amusing, I would never have watched it again. So it's a nice, fun, something different to watch type of a thing. And if you've never watched it, you may be surprised.
Okay. Is that pretty much it then for you for right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Heading over to you, Jake. Was this the first time watch for you?
No, it was not. Um, not to go too deeply into the, I guess, proving the point of where guys' minds tend to be that this movie addresses and that Dave so clearly laid out. I admit at the time this came out, I had rather a crush on Reese Witherspoon, and I was very interested in this film. I don't know if my introduction to her was Cruel Intentions or Pleasantville, or it could have been either one. They came out at similar times, and I really loved both movies. I did not love Election, but I think I probably saw that around the same time too. I don't think I saw American Psycho before I saw this movie.
Very similar.
So I had seen her in some stuff, and yes, there was a lot of buzz. She got a lot of praise for this movie, and there was serious Oscar talk. She was considered one of the snubs that year, and it's really interesting because as I was looking through the IMDb notes, they pointed out that it came out within a couple months of Bridget Jones's Diary, which had a few similarities to this one in terms of the character getting tricked into going to a party in a bunny costume for one. And I guess when it came down to it, Oscar gave the nod to Renee Zellweger because I guess they weren't going to do it for two people for this kind of more comedic, dare I say, chick flicky role. And to that note, well, first of all, I will say I did very much enjoy the movie. I thought it was a little overrated, but I really enjoyed it. And maybe it's because I was not exactly the target audience, but I don't. Well, more on that in a minute. I think I've seen it a couple of times since then. I know I've seen it a minimum of 2 times before this viewing, maybe 3 or 4. I can't swear to it. And I probably saw parts of it because I feel like this was something that was really popular at the time, and I may have seen pieces of it at college or what, you know what I mean? Or caught bits of it on television. It's possible. But I have not seen it for many years. So it was almost a new watch. And I almost had to freaking rent a copy because I had issues getting access to a Blu-ray player last night. It was very annoying. But I did get it. I did get it watched. I recently bought the Shout Select 2-pack with this one and Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde. And I was looking forward to rewatching it. And then I can't swear to it I ever saw the sequel, but I will be seeing it soon. I hope to. But yes, I very much like it. I do think all the talk about this being such a transformative role for Witherspoon was a little overblown. But think about the movies I mentioned. Pleasantville, she's basically the girl next door. In Cruel Intentions, she's basically the slightly nerdy girl that gets mistreated by the main duo.
Well, and I do want to mention that I think one of the actresses actually plays the other woman in here. The one Brunette.
Yes, Selma Blair was in Cruel Intentions as well as this one. I guess
Correct.
that's what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Correct.
But so basically, there was a lot of buzz about this being apparently a different role for her in addition to being a lead role. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. She went from playing these whip smart or at least moderately smart girls to playing the quote dumb blonde and doing it well. But back to the point of, I would very strenuously argue that movies like, let's say, Bridget Jones' Diary would be more accurately described as a quote chick flick than this one is. This one has those elements, but I would not say it's a full on. And I will also say that the idea of this being a guilty pleasure movie, not at all for me. The idea that a guy needs to be guilty for liking a chick flick movie, to me, is that's a silly concept. No offense, Dave. To me, I'll watch if a chick flick is good. Sometimes they're awesome. Sometimes I love them. They can be really, really bad, and when they're really, really bad, it can be painful. But when they're really, really good, yeah, no, I'm never going to use that as a criteria for something being a guilty pleasure for me personally. But anyway, I did enjoy rewatching it, and I feel like a couple of the jokes, and we've hit this theme many times. We definitely hit it last week. There are jokes that were perfectly decent, or jokes or observations or whatever. They're perfectly decent for the time that the movie was made, that maybe haven't aged so well. The fact that a witness's testimony fell apart because of their sexual orientation probably played very differently in 2001 than it does now. There's a couple other things like that, but overall, definitely glad I got to see it. And were you guys aware that you both picked movies starring Reese Witherspoon?
Oh, you mean me and
Tammy?
I wasn't aware entirely. I totally forgot that Reese Witherspoon was a voice in Sing.
It's also really funny.
I wasn't aware either.
And I was not aware that it's really funny. We have this sort of rolling thing here because this movie features Alana Ubach, one of the co-stars of Waiting, and Waiting co-star John Francis Daly, who played the younger brother of Linda Cardellini in Freaks and Geeks, and Linda Cardellini shows up in this movie. So we collectively had an actress in both movies, and we both made Freaks and Geeks connections with our movies. So I thought that was kind of hilarious when I figured that. That was an interesting thing there. Ubach plays a much kinder, gentler character in this one than she did. But Cardellini was almost unrecognizable with that frizzy hair. But anyway, I don't think I've ever seen her with that kind of. But anyway, I think that's it for my initial. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Brandon? Was this the first time watch for you?
Oh yeah, this was not. But actually, what's funny is that this did come up with help me remember another potential guilty pleasure. But the thing is, I'm not sure I will. People feel like I should be guilty for liking this movie, but Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I don't know why, but I love the Chihuahua movies, so I should feel guilty. But I don't feel guilty for liking the movies.
I like Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I think it's funny.
The first one, yes. The second two,
As the Chihuahua Warriors.
I do like how the Chihuahua in this is called Bruiser. It's like,
But no, this was not my first time watching Legally Blonde. I watched it a good while ago, first time. I don't remember when, but it's been a while, and I've watched it a lot. And I got that same double pack, and I was going to watch out of the double pack, but right now that's under L for Legally Blonde, for that and the second one, and that is buried in a box under a lot of movies. So no, I didn't get to watch it off of that, but it's on YouTube, so I'm good with that. And
oh, it was? Oh,
yep,
okay.
free on YouTube. So,
It was on a cable station here, and when he was first talking about doing it, I recorded it, and I'm like, well, if you change your mind, cool. If not, it's already recorded.
There you go.
So it's all there, but I was glad to see it. It was good because I didn't remember it as much as it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm kind of glad to get a chance to revisit it. It was such a fun film, one that you wouldn't have expected looking at the cover, but one that is actually much more complex than it looks on the surface, which I guess is the whole theme of it, really. It's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching through it again. Me and Kim got to watch it, and I will say that it was a fun choice to have for the month. Let me see. Hey, Kim, did you want to say anything about Legally Blonde? Did you want to say anything about Legally Blonde before we move on to it? Because I know you watched it with me.
Yeah, I mean, I originally saw it in college with my girlies.
That's the best time to see this one for you.
We saw it when it was in the theater, and we'd always said that, the day that we all get married, we're gonna play that song "Perfect Day" that was playing at the end of the movie because it's such a fun song. It's just like early 2000s girlies, yes. But on our wedding day, I was too busy to do anything to even play that song. I walked down the fucking aisle with my dress half off.
That would have been more appropriate to play some sort of angry metal song during the time.
Like a metal song.
like a Grensko. But yeah, did you have anything that you wanted to say about it before we move on? I just thought I would give you an opportunity since you watched it all with us.
I mean, I there's nothing more for me to say except for that it's a nostalgic film for me, and I love it.
Oh, there you go.
Right. I real quick, I meant to say something, and Brandon, I'm curious if you agreed with me on this. I was watching it and I'm like, okay, I'd kind of forgotten the basic plot here. Okay, there's a lot of similarities in the basic setup and the basic setup of Skip Beat.
except Skip Beat probably came way later.
No, around this a little bit later, but
no, I'll admit it's Skip Beat. She's a little bit more angry than Elle.
The particulars are different, but the basic idea is you have this girl who is looking forward to a lifetime commitment to this guy that she loves, and he dumps her for like, oh, well, you're just not serious. It's like he's not as big of he's not near as big of an ass as the guy that dumps the girl in that series, but it's still the same basic thing of I got to look out for me, and it was great, but I got to look out for me. And then she ends up following into his career and ends up basically just humiliating him by her own success. The particulars are different, but there's enough similarity that I'm like, huh.
Actually, two notes that I have. for Dave. One, of course, her name is Elle, as in the French word for she.
True.
And also is in the magazine. I think that was
Yes.
specifically, yeah.
Which I believe is also because of the French word for she.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And the second part is, I am very glad that you chose this one. I was worried that you might have picked Sallow as a film that you really enjoy, but might feel again, you might have to.
Does it count if it's his third time talking about it on this channel? At that point, I don't think you can claim to be embarrassed.
No, I would not have put that one forward, even though there is a part in there that I don't know why, but I somewhat am amused by it. But in any case,
We don't know why either.
And I won't say which, so I'll let you guys salivate over that for a little bit. So,
well, Jake still hasn't watched the movie. You got to make him watch it.
but I chose
I ain't gotta do nothing.
I chose legally blonde because it was in my mind the chickeniest of chick flicks that I can think of. And I'm sorry, but if you were a guy, there were certain movies that you tended to steer away from because they were just for the girls, like Bridesmaids.
I
Or
enjoyed Bridesmaids.
I was fine with Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
I tend to stay away from the girly girl movies because because sometimes they're way too girly, and I was taught to not be a girly man, and you know, there were movies for guys who like movies at one point in time too. So the so-called Bravo TV. So to me, there was always a fair amount of movies that you kind of cliched in with a group that you know, as a guy, you just don't watch them, you know, and that's one thing that I think as you grow up, you grow out of. But there was a time in high school where people would look at you and be like, "You're gonna watch that movie? You know that's for chicks, right?"
I just picture Lemon Grab doing unacceptable.
God. I got to the episode with all the cloned. Ugh. Oh, ugh.
I mean, I grew up in an age where you would be made fun of for the movies that you actually went and saw. So, I mean, it's not so much anymore, but because I choose to like what I like, and to hell with anybody else.
I think my generation in a way paid more attention to music. Like,
yeah.
If you liked Metallica and you liked Bon Jovi, you sure did tell the people that liked Metallica that you liked Bon Jovi.
I mean, I grew up in outcast groups, so we were pretty much disliked anyway, so it didn't really matter what I liked or disliked. If I liked it, I enjoyed it. If not, I didn't. Now, if my small friend group that I had didn't like something, that would have been different, but it wasn't something like that. We were never like that. I mean, shoot, I remember liking Gem and the Holograms as a little kid, and that one was considered a girls' cartoon.
Well, in real high school cliches, if you were to tell some of those high school critics that you liked Legally Blonde, you'd be judged.
Well, that's
So-
all right. Most of those people were assholes.
That wouldn't be an issue for me because the movie came out when I was in college.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that there was none of those flicks existed to that point when I was in college when this came out. So yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't know. You'd have to go with an equivalent that would have been in the '90s, I guess, early '90s.
I think one thing that helped with me is that this one did get so much critical buzz, and it came out right when I was really getting into my critic phase, where I was literally trying, if something had positive buzz, I would seek it out, and especially if it was out of my comfort zone. Like now, I just don't have the time to do that as much as I used to. You know,
Actually, in high school, the kind of guys that would have been acting like that would have been the people that were beating up on everybody and all that in school. So if they were saying, yeah, this movie is for idiots or something like that, I would have probably wanted to watch it anyway because I'm very contrarian when it comes to those types of things. And when somebody says you shouldn't watch this or you should, and it's the right people who are saying it, I will do the opposite. And so that would have driven me to the movie if it had come out and they were saying that to me. Because these are people who would surround you and break an arm with somebody for fun. So I don't really value people's opinions like that.
all I'm saying is that it was a thing that if there was a movie that was out and it was it was technically a movie that all the cheerleaders were watching and talking about on the sidelines or whatnot, that movie can stay with the cheerleaders and the chicks. It was a thing back in the 90s. And maybe it might not have been as much of a thing with you guys, that you guys might have been
it was
ostracized.
probably worse with our generation, except like Brandon said, I wasn't really running with that crowd either. So until senior year. And the weird thing is with me, senior year is when I just, or the end of junior year is when I said, I'm going to be in the popular crowd. And my school, the popular crowd was weird relative to most schools. I actually had no problem being in there senior year. And I don't remember that sort of vibe being strong with the people that I spent time with. That there may have been other cliques in the school where that would have been the case.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I think it probably would have been something like that in my high school, but again, that would mean that I would really crave the affection of said group, which I wouldn't have. I mean, I agree. Senior year, I was less bullied in high school because
I don't think there's not one of us who would have at least wanted to have been popular.
And senior year, I did.
You
There
know.
was a senior year. There was a trio of cheerleaders that I got pretty close to. And if any one of the three of them had said, "Hey, watch this movie with me," I would have done it. I wouldn't have cared what.
well, I'll admit, if it's a bunch of like really, that would have been like more of a reason to watch it.
Yes,
But I wouldn't.
I'm talking about cheerleaders who weren't sharing, weren't inviting the uncool kids to go see these movies, and
So I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
really remember. I don't know. I don't really remember the chick flick type of thing or whatever either in high school. Like I said, I remember the thing about music. Okay, because some of the in the 80s there was so much different types of music going on. There was just so much different types of music. So everybody was always talking about it, and you had your different ones that, well, if you like this, you can't admit it if you like that, if you like this, and vice versa, So if you're hanging out with the guys that everybody all likes the, Metallica and all that stuff, at ACDC and everything. Well, like I said, you couldn't turn around and admit that you liked Bon Jovi.
You
See,
can't turn around and say that you like 16 Candles or Pretty in Pink.
I don't know.
These
16
are
Candles are pretty freaking dark. But yeah, I mean, if you look at those types, I mean, Joe versus the Volcano, that would have been a close one to back in those days, which I loved that one. That was awesome. Of course, I also had a crush on Meg Ryan, so that didn't help. Same with Sleepless in Seattle. I mean, that would have Groundhog Day. That would have been considered a chick flick at the time because it's a romantic comedy.
Well, my high school,
See-
She's All That would have been a big one. Or it
Yeah.
was a big one. That was a big one.
Well,
So-
I remember people talking about 16 Candles,
Mhm.
Weird Science.
Weird
Pretty in
Science.
Pink.
I loved Weird Science. Actually, most John Hughes films would have been considered chick flicks by
And
that.
of course,
My Science
Channel.
Project.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just one of those things I can understand, and I would say I never actually ever wanted to be popular in school because I didn't want to deal with the extra problems that would bring. What I wanted out of school was to not be bullied. Now that I did want, but those people would have.
I
bullied
wanted
me
to
whether I
not
watched
be
this
bullied,
one
but I
or not.
also wanted to be at least in the middle to semi popular. But
I
I
didn't
never
care.
quite got there.
I actually didn't care because, see, I got along with everybody. One day I'd be dressed all preppy and hang out with the preppies and talk with them, and the next day I'd be all what they would call, I forgot, a dirt. I'd have my rocker shirts on and my jeans and everything, and like a little bit darker makeup, and and I hung out with everybody and I got along with everybody, and nobody ever knew what to think of me. And I was not in any group because nobody knew what to think of me. Nobody knew what to make of me, and I thought that was just awesome.
Well, but of course, Dave, though, that just means that your experience was unique to us, and that's still your experience, and that's how you
I know.
grew up looking at
Well,
the world.
nobody tried to bully me because I threw the last.
And maybe it just seemed like it was a stronger thing at the time that I was in high school there were certain movies that guys just really went and saw, and there were certain movies that chicks just went and saw. But it was a thing for a time, at least where I was going to school.
Now, I will say, as a little kid, when I was in elementary school, that would have been the case. Like, if I went to, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, I wouldn't have gone to theaters to see the Rainbow Bright movie.
Yeah.
Or the Strawberry Shortcake movie.
Yeah, so I probably.
They had an American McGee's Strawberry Shortcake movie.
Yeah, I would have gone with that.
What I was going to say is I didn't really get in high school. I did not get bullied. Somebody tried to bully me like freshman year or whatever, and I slammed my fist on the locker and right next to their head and dented it, and that was about it. Yep. There was very few people that wanted to piss me off after that one. Word got around real quick. Don't.
So,
But anyways, back to the movie. Back to the movie. I know we just talked about how it was when I was in high school at this movie, but earlier I had said this went against the grain because it took a woman who you'd normally think would have less brain cells than a battery would, and turned her life around, who turned her life around and gave it a meaning, and she did it all in the name of love, originally. But she found out that she was in fact smarter than the average, uh, you know, person with her IQ, and went against the grain. No person say, and I think that's what I liked about this movie is that someone who started out so much smaller in life became so much bigger at the end of the movie. And larger than life, and not only that she was good looking and talented to boot. But that being said, the film begins with Ellie or Elle. That's her name. Elle Woods, and she's got like three friends or two friends that she hangs out with. She's in a sorority, so you see that she's part of like this Delta.
Nu. Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently it was supposed to be Delta Gamma, but they were worried about offending the actual Delta Gamma sorority, which is hilarious to me because at Roanoke we had Delta Gamma, and they had a reputation that the DGs I knew were lovely people, but the DGs I knew also, some of them lived up to that reputation. And so it was very amusing to me to see that they had this barely slightly different name for their sorority here.
Well, and it appears that she was captain of her sorority.
Yeah.
Which means that there were a lot of girls in her sorority that looked up to her.
And
Besides
those two friends I mentioned earlier, the return of Alana Ubach from last week. She was I've already forgotten the name. Why have I forgotten that name? The one who played Naomi. There we go. Naomi in this one is Serena, and I guess Margot is Jessica Caulfier, however you say that. And you said dumber than a battery. Elle never comes across as that dumb.
No. Well, in the
Margot comes off as
Margot comes off as that dumb.
They all come off as dumber than a battery in the very beginning of this movie.
I disagree with that on Elle.
I would disagree with that, yeah.
Because Elle had already shown up. One of the things that she did, and I'll give you the example. Right at the very beginning of the film, they're going shopping for dresses as she's getting ready to be proposed to by this guy, supposedly. Because that's what the whole thing at the beginning is, them saying her congratulations on her engagement because it was a foregone conclusion. And when they're doing this one woman goes in, she thinks, I'm going to trick this dumb blonde into buying this, and she just totally shuts her down on it. I was like, I know exactly what you're doing, and no, I'm not going to buy this thing that you had on sale cut off for full price. No, she showed that she knew her stuff like nobody's business.
Right.
Well, yeah.
They did say that she got a 4.0 where she's at. Yes, it is fashion school, but fashion school is still school, and those classes are still difficult. It's just a different skill set. I'd be like, that'd be like somebody saying, well, electrical engineering isn't, you go to tech school to be an electrician. That's nowhere near as tough as going to college. Like, the heck it ain't. So
yeah, let's see one of these Harvard law grads try to do electric rewire their house or fix a car or something. It's like, it may be a different type of knowledge, but it's still knowledge. It's still skill. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so she wasn't exactly like a babe in the woods, per se. So she was smarter than she made me feel.
but that is
Um,
part of the point because everyone around her, except for maybe her best friends, undervalue her. Her boyfriend dumps her because she's quote not serious. When she tells
well,
her parents she's going to law school, they're not at all supportive. You know? It's like,
but her parents are not very serious either.
no, they're not.
no,
Yeah, it's
but so evidently, she is preparing to go out to dinner with her then boyfriend Warren, I believe his name is.
mm-hmm.
And
Or
Warren is played by Matthew Davis.
Or
I
Warren.
know him as being a character in the Vampire Diaries later on.
Okay.
That being said, he's very young in here, kind of a dupa.
He
Um,
is the third, right? I think his I don't remember his full name, but he's either the third or the fourth. You know, one of those.
yeah, he's Harvard Yale
Yeah.
ish.
I just know that he's got a very long road ahead of him because he's hoping to be a senator before he turns 30 because you can't be
Yeah.
a senator before you turn 30.
Well, I don't know when he turned 30, but yeah, that's the yeah. Well, isn't like I think his older brother already is one. I think if I remember that correctly, or
Yep. In fact, it's his older brother that is actually in the paper that was getting married. Um, uh, when she was looking at the paper the next day when she was dealing with the whole breakup, which is what happens. She thinks it's a proposal, but it ends up being a breakup dinner.
yeah,
Which was total bullshit shit. And you feel bad for her because she really was like thinking that it was going to move forward, and
right,
you could obviously see that it was not going to move forward at all.
right,
And it wasn't just the fact that um she wasn't gonna she wasn't going to be doing it for him, and I'm sure his parents were on his back and butt about what kind of person she really is, and you know it seems like his parents were kind of like the ones behind molding who he was.
yeah. I kind of have a feeling they probably didn't know much of anything about her. He probably hadn't even. You get the impression he probably didn't even consider her that seriously from the get go.
I think that she was more of that fling that
Yeah.
he had over that time that he was over there.
Yeah,
It was the fun fling before he gets down to business, so to speak.
right.
Yep. So he breaks it off with her. She evidently takes a week to be upset over it because her friends come in and she's like watching some old like soap rerun or something like that, and they're like, "Come on, get out of bed. It's been a week, you know." And I believe that it's around this time that she decides somewhere down the line that she's going to get into Harvard.
Well, they take her to get a mani pedi because they figure that's the way to, cheer her up. And
That's
she's
right.
sitting there. I think that was when she was flipping through the paper and she saw something. I can't remember what. But
It was the marriage of the brother She was flipping through the paper and saw the marriage of the brother, and that brother is getting married to what you would call a Jacqueline Kennedy.
She was like a Yale grad or something like that, and that's when she realized, wait a minute, that's how I'll get him. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
I'll just go to law school.
Yeah, how hard can it be?
So she ends up going to see a guy. What is it? A school guidance counselor?
As a guidance counselor
Oh
for
my
the
God, yeah.
because almost all colleges.
And I do believe that that was the guidance counselor that she got. Also played in an older Stephen King miniseries that I like, the Tommy Knockers. I believe she initially played the mailman's wife in that particular miniseries.
Okay.
The sheriff's deputy that kind of got jealous of the thing that he was doing. But anyways, moving on. This is way later. She basically tells her that she's got to have like this, and this, in order to. She's got to have like a written thing by.
She's got to have an essay. She's got to have a video.
Well, I don't think she said
teacher recommendations, and she needs to get at least a 175 on her LSATs.
Right.
Correct.
And, which I actually watched Legal Eagle's breakdown of this, which if you get a chance afterwards, you should.
Oh, I forgot they did that. I should have watched that.
And he had said basically out of what she did, for her to get the grade she got on her LSAT, and they presented what she had to do to pass it very well.
Yeah.
And said like if she got that alone would have probably gotten her into Harvard, but no, Harvard does not accept video essays.
Yeah.
Even if they are directed by a Coppola.
Well, she was supposed to do an essay, and then it was an essay, and then about something, and then she was supposed to do some video.
Well, the video was her essay.
She submitted a video essay.
Yeah, the counselor had said you better knock him down with your essay or something like that. But it was, but yeah, I think isn't a 180 the perfect score on the LSAT?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
So if you get a 175, you're already in like the top percentile. And she got 179, I think it was.
Yeah, she got one from the top score.
So again, it shows that when she puts her mind to something, she's not stupid. She just, it's
she's just decided to funnel everything into stalking.
Right. But yeah, and that was an interesting essay. But then did they address in the Legal Eagle thing, did they address the comment that or the comments that they make after they watch the video where they make it clear that she's partly a DEI admission because they're like, well, didn't they say something like we've never had
we've never had diversity?
No, something like we've never had a cheerleader or something like that.
Like that, and he had said that's actually not unusual for Harvard to do that, because the thing is, a lot of people assume, apparently, this is coming from him, not from me.
Yeah.
A lot of people assume that you really have to have undergraduate work or concentration in law before going into law school, but in many cases, that's not true. And Harvard looks for diversity of thought when it comes to that. So actually, other than her essay probably would have been thrown in the trash. So if she had submitted it written, though, she would have actually been a very likely candidate because they want different backgrounds and different avenues. As you see later when they're in that circle and you see all the different, very, very different people coming in there.
And as we see in the critical trial later in the movie, where her personal experience cracked the case, you
Yep.
know? Yeah. So, spoiler alert. But, anyway.
Alrighty. So, after a montage of, because for sake of time, speeding the story forward is always a good thing as long as you do it properly. But I do think that the montage is put in there pretty expertly, because you basically get a montage of her studying for the exams, and then getting those SAT scores, and then you see the board of representatives at Harvard looking at her videotape, and then there's all these guys that are for her being accepted, and this one guy who's just like, he's trying not to say yes, but he's got to say yes because these guys are making points, even if they are minimally and questionable.
Well, she is oddly enough Harvard material.
Yes, so she is accepted, and ultimately, at least she does meet her teachers, and the first teacher that she has for the day is a female teacher who calls upon her first thing.
First, she has her first encounter. We have that circle that we already mentioned where she meets Anthony Perkins' son, who becomes her friend eventually.
Oh yeah.
But where we see those different backgrounds come into play. And then, of course, she has her first encounter on campus with Warner. And I did enjoy that jaw drop moment where he saw her and was like...
Well, that's after she's had her first
No, man,
class.
she was on her way to class.
No.
Am I right?
It was the first time you actually see Warner was after she had already had that first class.
No, it was before.
She was
really?
The second time she saw Warner was after the first class because she meets Luke Wilson's character after her first class, and he comes by the second time because the first time she meets it and she sees that coveted engagement ring is adorning another finger of somebody who is not so nice.
Which is why then she drives away, and it looks like she's about to hit town, but then she finds a hair salon.
Yeah. So like I said, I do want to mention that where Warner first sees her on campus. I just found that very amusing because
it is amusing.
I also did find it funny when they went to there at the beginning. She's looking for all the social events and stuff. Because, normally like undergrad, you do that, but there is a difference. Not just law school, most grad schools in general. Because I can tell you right now, when I went to grad school, there was nothing in my mind about social events. I did not have the time to think about stuff like that. I was exhausted 24/7. So yeah, you go to grad school, you go to undergrad for education and socialization. You go to grad school to study. That's it.
Yeah.
that's the whole. So, and law school is many times worse than that. I mean, they were using what's called the Socratic method.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Legal Eatable, that first class is a good illustration as to how they do. he also said that he thinks that method sucks and he hates it. But he says that is very accurate to what would happen in reality.
But yes, we do have this class taught by Professor Stromwell, who's played by Holland Taylor. She's usually reliable for these kind of roles. And yeah, she kind of humiliates Elle in her very first class. And Elle ends up leaving and because she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready for class. It's like, yeah.
Well, that's when she meets Luke Wilson's character. And he's somewhat of a nice guy, kind of lurking around the campus as an upperclassman.
Yeah.
And he gives her, so they're talking about this, and he gives her that up and down about like the different types of professors and what they are. And then she meets with them again. And then we get to where Dave is about going back to finding, it's like, oh my, the nail salon.
Well, yeah. And it just so happens that at this nail hair salon is an actress that we've come across in the American Pie series.
Yeah.
Which she was a recurring character on that particular franchise.
And we'll be seeing her next month, too.
I believe her name is Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge, yeah. Although
Jennifer
in this
Coolidge.
movie she is Paulette.
Yes, she is Paulette. Which apparently she's just when she meets Paulette, she is estranged from a previous relationship and is missing her puppy.
Mhm.
Which, go ahead.
Well, again, I'm trying to remember because here I'm having trouble remembering the order. Was this before or after the class, Callahan's class with the other two?
This was after. This was before the Callahan class because she hadn't quite got because she was basically humiliated in the first class. So
yes.
she the fact that she went and found this this friend in the hairdresser was actually a good thing because it meant that she had an anchor in town, someone that she could relate to and talk to.
Right.
In between everything while her friends were back at home, you know?
Well,
Right.
she not only got humiliated in class after
Well,
she
that was
got
the party.
humiliated in class, that's when she finds out
That was what it was. Was
that
it the
she got-
party
oh.
that drove her to that? No, it wasn't the party.
No,
That drove
that was
her
not yet.
to knuckle down. Yeah.
Well, it was after she got humiliated, she ran into Warner and his new chickie who helped humiliate her in class, and
Yep.
she got to see the lovely ring.
All
That's
right.
what pushed her overboard, and that's
We
when
did,
she went.
yeah, because we did see Selma Blair in class the first time, and
Yep.
that's when we found out she was with Warner. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, and she was also given the whole I met her at my granny's place and story
Right.
as well. So yeah, after that, seeing the ring, that's when she kind of like has a panic attack and
Yeah.
goes and that's I think when she meets Paulette.
That's where she gets the advice, steal him back. But to me, I'm not going to lie. I think that she is an amazing individual, Elle is, but of course she's doing all this for the worst reasons possible. And
Yeah.
she really comes across as a stalker for the first parts of this film. A creepy
Yeah.
stalker at that.
Yeah, to a degree.
I mean, to a degree, to a large degree, this person actually took care of her entire career path and then decided to go to law school, even though she had no inclination to go to law school before that. just to do this. This is on golden time level.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
who would go to law school on purpose just to be near her man friend? You know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly like this was I think I'm just going to go over to this school instead of that school. No, she studied for weeks.
Yeah.
I'm studying the law for love.
Now, he doesn't seem too wigged out about it, though. He is shocked when he first sees her, but before long, he's cool with it seems.
Oh, yeah, especially when she mentions the 4-hour thing in the hot tub. That was
Vivian
later.
wasn't.
That was at the party. That was at the party.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So she is at the dorm, and she overhears that Vivian and her friend speaking about a party that's going to go down. She hears this, and when she comes out, she's basically told by Vivian that it is a strictly the only thing is it's a costume party.
Yeah.
So
well, it does serve to piss her off. And then she gets serious. I do like how she goes directly from the costume party where she's wearing the Playboy bunny outfit, and she just goes directly from there to the college store to buy her computer. And Luke Wilson is like right in line behind. Is like,
don't ask.
Yeah.
Which leads to another montage.
Yep.
Studying her ass off and doing well.
Yep, because apparently studying just deserves a montage. So
not that I'm into girls or whatever, but she did make a cute bunny.
She did.
Yes, she did. She did make a cute Playboy bunny.
Now
the friend she finds out is getting married.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel like a lot of this is after we do meet Callahan, because I don't think he was introduced after numerous montages and that sort of
thing. He was introduced before that montage, before the party. He was introduced.
That's what I was thinking. So, like, we do.
Yes, he was introduced at least as a professor because he was the second professor that she was to see that day.
Right.
And so at first, and she did get the whole lowdown of
well, Emmett had said that Callahan likes opinionated people. He likes
correct
speak up.
And after she got that computer is when we get the montage of her studying, but also answering more questions in class.
She's earning respect from all of her professors.
Correct.
I think
including the attention of Callahan.
I think, though, the first class with him, I think, was the one where he put a question to her with a bit of legalese that she wasn't super familiar with.
And she was familiar with it. She answered it correctly.
Well,
her answer was there.
She deflected by saying, "I'd rather have a defendant who's a client who's innocent," and everyone kind of laughs at that. And he's like, he's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then, of course, Vivian speaks up. Well, I would pick, I'm not going to try to remember the terms, but she's like, I would pick this one because they're less dangerous. And then, he's ready to move on. And then Elle raises her hand again. She's like, well, I'll go with the other one because I like a challenge.
and keep both terms meant a level of guilt.
Yes.
What they were talking about.
Yes.
So I do believe that Elle understood exactly what was being on. That's why she said it was innocent. And that's why his response was, well, that's a very idealistic answer.
Right.
But so that was the whole thing. And I think that's something that does play. And the reason why I bring that up is it's important because there is that for a defense attorney, he seems to just consider almost everybody he defends as being guilty.
He's very cynical.
So that's there. And it also brings up a special internship he talks about.
Yeah.
Which she then tells Warner about it. It's like, yeah, when I worked the internship, it's like, yeah, you ain't getting on that.
Yeah.
And, Legal Eagle had some things to say about the internship and about the professor, saying like, this guy is not realistic in the slightest. Because first off, where is he having the time to be a full law professor and be a partner at a large law firm? And he's also taking students in their first year and taking them away for hundreds of hours when they need every single hour they can get for their classes.
Yeah.
I was like, are they not failing all the classes now because of this internship?
Yeah.
He literally went in to say, like, you get like some free time in your later years of law school, but in that first year of law school, you study. And they said, like, except for that one day where you go, like, what was it, bar review, as they called it. And bar review is literally going to the bar and drinking. So yeah, he looked at that as being one of the more unrealistic parts because like there would be no time. Not just for the students, but for the professor as well.
And I will admit, as someone who is not a lawyer and not super familiar with the legal profession, I read a lot of John Grisham, but I won't claim to be an expert. And I do listen to a lot of Legal Eagle, so I don't claim to be anywhere close to an expert. I thought it was a little weird that he was a professor and a partner in a firm. I'm like, really? And then I was like, and they're putting these kids to a lot of work. Yeah, you're absolutely right. During the semester, like during summer would be one thing, but during the semester, that's they probably never sleep. It's like Vivian complains about constantly being sent to get coffee. I would imagine in that scenario, it would be, we need more coffee now. All of us.
Coffee for the students, for the professor, for everybody. I was joking. He must be an adjunct professor. Because
that must be it. Yeah.
Okay. So ultimately, she catches the eye of Professor Callahan as not only a bright mind, but evidently, and as we later find out, evidently his internship it means a little bit more of a relationship that you gotta sleep with the professor in order to get better grades, kind of guy.
Later.
That's later, but that's the true spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I think he originally took her on more because he was curious about her, but as it went on, he was definitely thinking, maybe I can offer this person this and not take too much heat for it and still get a little bit out of it myself.
I think Callahan, well, first of all, I should mention it's Victor Garber, who I usually like him as an actor. This was one of his less likable roles.
I would have to say it's more of a wooden role for him.
Yeah, just the guy he plays he's a less likable character. But again, he's kind of cynical. He doesn't approach it the way Elle does, which, when we get into who their client is, she had reasons for being so sure that, but you get the impression that he approaches it as, I honestly don't care if they're innocent. I just want to be able to prove that they're not guilty, And that's kind of where his mindset seems to be. And I think it could be that, yeah, he is a little bit excited by Elle's idealism because it's so weird and different for where he is. But I don't know.
Depending on where here is.
Yeah. But yeah.
But anyways, so we do have him offering her a chance to be on his legal team in his firm,
along with Warner and Vivian, and I think Enid was the other one. Yeah,
correct. And I do believe that they had to do something to get to that point because they found out about their names being on the list with Callahan, along with everybody else, you know. So
it was basically they said that his firm had such a heavy course load they were going ahead and taking students on.
Yeah, they were taking they were taking first years for the first time because he got a murder case, and that's a lot more work.
Yeah.
So it was very unprecedented for them to take freshmen, which makes sense considering what the legal video said. I mean, there would have been no time for them to do it as freshmen.
Right.
You're just telling the freshmen, flunk out your first year.
Before we launch into that, am I remembering correctly that by this point, Elle has also seen that Paulette is mooning over the UPS guy?
Correct.
And started trying to...
Yeah.
She also helps Paulette actually retake ownership of her dog from the other asshole.
She does commit fraud.
Yes.
He's too dumb to figure it out.
I mean, the way she presented it, I'm sorry. Anyone who didn't see right through it deserves to be scammed.
Yeah, he seemed like he had the IQ of a bag of rocks. So.
Well, yeah, he had no idea
about the personality one too.
The words that she was coming up with and the things that she was saying, he just was like totally. No idea.
The habeas corpus.
Yeah, she definitely had everything all in really weird order compared to how it actually goes.
It means I'm taking the dog.
Right.
So she does get her dog back, and there is a cute moment that she teaches her a trick that apparently her mother taught her when she was very little, which is dropping something and picking it up. And
yeah, she said she taught it to her in like junior high or something, didn't she?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, your mother's teaching you to pick up dudes in middle school.
Well, her father, her mother and father don't look like the kind to be much. Their father always has a martini in hand, even in the.
I was going to say the 2 or 3 times we see the father, he has martini in hand. The mother was, I guess, a beauty queen or something, and it's like,
what was it they said? I guess like law school is for the ugly, the boring, and the something else. It's like, and you're none of them.
Yeah. It's boring, ugly, and it was something. It was something else that was kind of like where I'm like, she's probably going, gee, thanks, Dad. But yeah. I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was kind of it's kind of a fun, cute little subplot where, you know, with her.
Well, she tries to teach the whole. Drop the thing, pick up and
bend and snap.
Bend and snap. And then, of course, the LGBTQ community comes out and is like, "Oh, the classic bend and snap routine. It always works, you know, or always fun or something like that." The I like how everybody in the whole place got up and started to do it, and some of them learned something.
It's actually kind of funny because that particular thing, I didn't realize it was from this movie because there's a YouTuber I watch, Timmy's Takeout, because I like the food content, and he always starts it with doing the bend and step. I'm like, all right, this is just a gay guy thing or something like that.
Well, where do you think RuPaul got it from?
That's where he got it.
But
anyway.
So you do have that moment, and then of course, then you have the trial, the case that was given to them, and it just so happens that it's someone that she used to know.
Yeah, as a fellow Delta Nu sister who I think she said was like 4 years ahead of her. So like they just missed each other at school. But she's I don't know if the term was big then, but I guess she would be exactly what you would call an influencer now. Brooke Taylor Wyndham is played by Ali Larter. So anytime I see her, what did we see her in just like a month or two ago? There was something recently. But she, of course, I'll always think of her from Heroes. That's what I'll.
I still have to watch that show. I've got the complete of that, but
she was supposed to be a Suzanne Summers type character because she had a similar Thigh Master type thing where I went down this many dress sizes in one time.
Oh yeah, she was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Was she the mother? Huh? Was she the mother of Jay's mother?
She was one of the. She was one of. Are you talking about in this one? She's the.
No, I'm saying like did she play Jay's mother in Jay and Silent Bob?
No. She was one of the three. The three cat burglars. Chrissy.
Okay, but she was also in Resident Evil as Claire Redfield.
Yeah.
Had
a couple of roles.
So.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is her name?
Ali Larter.
Any case, The whole thing about that is that according to what had happened, they say that she killed her husband.
Yeah.
And her daughter was the one coming back to witness what had happened, and the pool boy also had witnessed what had happened. And they said that she must have. They can't find the murder weapon, so she must have stashed it before she got in. And she claims she has an alibi, but she's not willing to say what the alibi is. That's where you've got it so far.
Well, she is less than half of her late husband's age. It turns out that she's basically the same age as the daughter. And so, of course, Callahan assumes Trophy Wife killed him for the money, but we'll go ahead and defend her anyway. And everyone, and of course, that's what the prosecution thinks. That's what they're going for is, well, obviously she's guilty. I mean, just look at the situation, obviously, but Elle's like, no, she couldn't have done it. I know her. She couldn't have done it. And
she had her own fortune beforehand, so there was no motive money-wise.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Callahan did mention she had her own money, so.
Yeah, but Elle's the one who knew, like, oh, you talking about Brooke Taylor? Oh, I know her. Like she knew the whole story. And because she knew who Brooke was, she was able to get a level of trust with the client that no one else on the team had any chance of getting. And that's how she found out the alibi, which she then refused to share, which kind of pissed everyone off, but it also impressed Emmett and Callahan. They were like,
well, it also impressed Vivian at the same time because that made her think that she had integrity.
Right. Of course, she wouldn't admit it at the time.
No.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, she ends up seeing her on that last the last day that she almost like went and like quit and everything, which eventually she does because Callahan hits on her.
It drives a wedge between her and the potential thawing of the conflict between her and her ex-boyfriend's new fiance.
Yeah.
Because she sees it thinking that Elle is just using that to get ahead, when meanwhile Elle quits, and she ends up. But this is after she manages to do something that, oddly enough, is a real legal technique. Luke Wilson trusts her on realizing, because one of the things the pool boy had said that she was having an affair with him. And then the pool boy comments on her shoes, and she's like, he's gay.
Yeah.
And so Luke Wilson actually pulls something that apparently is a real legal trip, which is ask a whole bunch of simple questions and then hitting it with the other ones, like, and your boyfriend's name? Charlie, or something like that.
Chuck.
And, yeah.
Then, and I'll admit, I did laugh when he's like, well, wait, no. It's like, he doesn't mean anything. He's like, then Chuck apparently gets up, storms off.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
When that happened, I looked at David, I said, that's a good lawyer to get you, because if you're actually lying, and they go like that, boom, 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 and you have to answer, you don't have time to sit there and think about your lie.
I mean,
you answer. If you're telling the truth, you have no problem.
I'm sorry, Chuck is only a friend. What?
It's not just the speed of it. It's also that he's asking really innocuous, bland questions, and you're kind of giving a sense of security. And okay, I don't need to be on my guard. This guy's not, And yeah, I thought that was a clever thing. Like I said, I'm not sure that the testimony falling apart because the guy is gay is something that would play as well today as it did at the time.
Well,
but in terms of it being,
the testimony is that she's been sleeping with him on a regular basis. That's where it would fall apart.
And that is where it fell apart. And it was a pretty good. And actually, I think before that happened, they were like really concerned, and I think Brooke Taylor said something to her like, Adele Danou would never sleep with a guy in a thong, and Elle's like, I know.
No, I just wanted to look at him for a little while.
Don't stomp your lassie and brother shoes at me, horny. That's funny.
Right.
Oh God.
But it does help with that, and I'm sure. One of the things that he had brought up in the whole was that well, then they would need to get the boyfriend back in to do deposition, especially when they're going to have to go over all the perjury that basically the pool boy committed. But which I had thought, it's like, well, probably they might have done that, might have happened, but they probably didn't decide that was worth time in the movie, so they skipped over it.
Yeah.
But it was after that. That was what led to him meeting with her, giving her a full-on compliment about what she did, and having those instincts that surprised even him. And then saying, I think that you have what it takes to keep going forward. Yeah. And then he has to turn it into the creep thing. And as Legal Eagle said, that she sues him for all he's got because of that.
Right. And also he showed in that moment, I think he showed that he obviously had some shortcomings as a lawyer, if only in the sense of reading people, because I think he and maybe he was blinded by lust or whatever, But I think that if he had really been paying attention to her, he would have known that she wasn't trying to sleep her way to the top. And that was a pass that would probably work a lot better on some people. You know?
maybe her one blonde friend at the.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure a couple of her friends would have been all about that. But anyway.
See, because I know this actor as being more stoic in other roles and whatnot, I felt like the performance that he had to do felt kind of forced. As if he really didn't want to touch her in a specifically sexual manner. To me, it felt kind of like an awkward thing, even though I know it was probably in the script for him to be that way towards her. I do think that and feel like this was an awkward thing for this particular actor to do. And it didn't come off as something that the professor wanted to in my mind. He was not as lecherous seeming to me.
Well, he definitely could have come across much more lecherous than he did. I don't dispute that, but
I do think that that he should have come off as more lecherous.
I don't know.
And I'll give it this. I think the weakest part of this film is that a lot of the film is about don't judge a book by its cover, and there are some characters that are like that. But the problem is there's a lot of characters surrounding Elle that are very two-dimensional.
Yeah.
And I feel like that does, if there's a weakness to the film, that would probably be it for me, is that there's a lot of work done on Elle. She is very well defined, very well put together, but a lot of the others surrounding her are not so. And they're much more as they seem. I mean, I'm sorry, but her ex is very much as he's
a douche.
You expect the law professor to make a pass at her.
Yeah.
And I admit, Victor Garber and Selma Blair both have absolutely the talent to be more nuanced than they were. And some of the other actors, too. Brandon's right. This is a Reese Witherspoon vehicle. It really is. But as far as singling out Garber versus the other actors, I don't think he was worse than any of the others. I don't
think he was worse. I just think as an actor, I think he felt awkward, which showed to me on screen that it wasn't all the way entirely believable that he himself was into the role.
Let's say he's an example, I think, of something that is prevalent for the rest of the film and other characters in the film. The only other character that really kind of goes a little bit deeper than who they are on the surface is her ex's new fiance. She actually does come across as much more, but I don't feel like she has enough screen time to cover it to do justice. I mean, she just kind of goes from mean girl to not bestie, but slow respect. I feel like there could have been more interaction with them.
Yeah.
I do feel like it was enough, but I could have really enjoyed more of that because it really is a Reese Witherspoon vehicle.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want anybody to think by me saying this that I think that the film is bad in any way. No, the film is very enjoyable in almost every way. It's just if there was a weakness I could point out, It would be similar to what Dave's saying, but I would say that that's something that's not isolated to that character. It's it's pretty straightforward.
You're right. Everyone else is kind of two-dimensional, but
Yeah.
I still feel, and maybe this is just more strongly for me. I feel like Garber was or felt awkward about the role.
But I there was something that because she packs up to leave,
Yeah.
and Luke Wilson tries to get her to stay, but he's not enough to get her to stay.
Mhm. She tells him to come see her if he goes out to California, basically.
I'm trying to remember what it is that got her to.
She goes over to the beauty salon to Paulette, and she pours her heart out, and she's just about to go, and then Professor Stromwell happens to be there and basically tells her, like, it would be a shame for you to run away. Basically,
if you're the woman that I thought you were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I thought that was just an awesome part in the movie right there, because that lady, that lady gave her such grief her very first day.
Yeah.
Again, that's just how they are with teaching. That's the eccentric professor, though, that may be extremely harsh to anyone who doesn't take things seriously, but also is very rewarding and supportive of those that she feels are taking things seriously.
She's like this movie's version of McGonagall.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
but ultimately, I do kind of like what happens in the finality of the trial. Because
and also, I just want to mention: was it when she returned to campus that there was that experience where poor David was trying and horribly failing to chat up a couple girls?
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh yeah.
She walks
before that because she enlists him for help at the very end of that when she's coming in. So
yeah.
So yeah, that was funny. Just slaps him in the face and does that big thing.
Yeah, basically she pretends that he jilted her and walks away, and the girls suddenly are interested. It's like
at least he was smart enough to realize what she was doing.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't that much of a dork.
Yeah. Well, he's credited as Dorky David.
Yes, he is, but he wasn't that much of a nerd.
And again, this is
to have it go over his head and not realize.
And again, Osgood Perkins. I need to see Longlegs. Apparently, that's his film. I've heard things. But apparently his first acting credit was playing the younger version of his old man in one of the Psycho movies. Like, that's interesting. But, yeah. So
so that's Osgood Perkins.
Yeah.
There. Right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's weird is that Legal Eagle does not cover the last defense thing. Where the last court scene at all. He just stopped right there. Yeah.
He's taller than Anthony Perkins, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. I think there's a scene where he gets something for her off the top shelf of the library. But yeah, that big courtroom scene that where they're talking to, incidentally, Linda Cardellini played. We have two interesting cast members playing the surviving family. Linda Cardellini as Chutney. What a lovely name for a person. And Raquel Welch plays the mother, or the ex-wife, Miss Wyndham Vandermark.
Is that the one that they go and find in a spa?
They find her in a spa, yes.
Okay.
I
was trying to figure out who the heck that was. That was the lovely Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
From 100 rifles, 1 million BC.
Right.
Yeah. It all comes down to understanding about hair.
Yes.
Where Elle takes over for the defendant fires her lawyer because
Mhm.
he's not doing good enough for her and she doesn't trust him, and hires Elle on, which they work that out behind the back, and apparently there's some law in that area that a law student can take on a case if under the supervision of a lawyer, which Luke Wilson says that he will do that.
Right.
And then she makes the case about the basically where she catches the witness in a lie, a really bad lie.
First, she flounders horribly.
Yeah.
Just kind of, she doesn't have any confidence, and she's just kind of, and she asks I don't know how many times. So you were in the shower, and that's why you didn't hear the shot. And everyone's getting kind of fed up with it, but it's like, but it ends up helping her make her point really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because the daughter, suddenly she's like, yes, I did this and this and this. And one of the things she did was go get a perm.
It said she was washing her hair when she was in the shower.
Yeah.
She couldn't hear the shot.
But once she said she got a perm, you see Elle perk right up. And she's like, so you didn't hear it because you were in the shower washing your hair. And she's like, yes, because she's already said that how many times?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and that's where Elle's untraditional background helped her in the case.
She gets good.
Yep, because everybody knows you don't wash a perm the day of the perm. Because I get perms myself.
Yeah, she says it's like the cardinal rule, and she like goes into some like chemistry about it, like just and suddenly she knows what she's talking about.
Well, yeah, and technically this girl is supposed to know about this cardinal rule.
Yeah, because she'd established that she'd already done that. What she said since she was 12, 13.
Yeah, she's been doing it for almost 20 years.
Yeah. Well, not quite that long, but definitely for some time. Because she said twice a year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
over 20 times. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird trivia though. Apparently, Linda Cardellini is older than Ali Larder. It's interesting, but
makes it even more awkward.
But yes, you are. But yes, you are right. She is able to trip her up into admitting to the murder of her father.
If it made any difference, she wasn't actually planning to murder her father. She was planning to murder the interloper.
The interloper, yes.
Yeah. So that was once she realizes the game is up, that was her defense. Was I wasn't trying to kill him. Yeah.
But and then it moves to the graduation ceremony and all of the afterwards of it's like he's going to propose tonight, and they were best friends from her and her former rival.
Right.
Well, and Warren comes and tries to get back with her, and she basically tells him, "Well, Warren, I'm sorry to say, but in my future partner, I'm not sure."
No, she says if I'm going to make partner by 30, I can't be wasting time.
With bimbos like you.
His words back at him. Yeah.
But and I thought that was great. Now it did say in the wordings afterwards that Warren did not ultimately marry Vivian.
Well, it said
Vivian dumped him.
I think it said he didn't. He graduated without honors, without a job prospect and without a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, he'll eventually get a job, but as it is, one of the things that she let slip to was like he was waitlisted for because it took his family to get him into Harvard,
yeah.
which also showed right there because Elle got in on her own basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was the superior of the two anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I thought that was kind of interesting when that was said. So the fact that she got in like almost on merit,
Yeah.
Whoa.
They didn't see what she was going to do with her law degree about the whole Chihuahua thing in the second film.
Right.
Well, she did say she liked animals. Yeah.
But she had a nice nice speech at the end with the graduation, and it agreed to some people, and I think Warren was grimacing, but whatever. Seemed like it seemed like everything went off without a hitch. So, yeah, and I do believe that that pretty much is the end of the movie. Correct?
It's the end of the world.
Pretty much. It was a pretty short movie. I'd forgotten how short it was. Yeah.
Well, good choice, Dave. Excellent movie.
But that being said, let's go into production on the film. What did y'all think about production, Tammy?
I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, I think how the sorority girls and all that were portrayed like at the beginning were probably pretty much on, and things like that. And I think as far as when they when you first get to see them in classes and stuff, I'm pretty I can see that the professors would definitely be strict like that, and be no nonsense and everything, and like the background and everything, and what they wore. I think everything was pretty much on.
Okay. Alrighty.
I don't. But one thing is, I don't think her dorm room would be that excessive as hers was. But
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
Well, I mean, this is a Reese Witherspoon vehicle, as I guess we've established already. And as far as it goes, they did everything they could to accentuate her over everything else. In truth, when you look at the movie, everything else is background to her. Both visually and character-wise, she is the focal point. And the production did everything it could to make it so. Now, it's not just because it's a Reese Witherspoon vehicle. I'm just using that as an example. But it's because that's the character. She would stick out in this crowd and all of that. But they did an amazing job of doing that, alternating the costumes, making everything else look kind of like a dull gray or dull colors and all that stuff. And for her to be popping out with the pinks, with the different colors in general that she would wear, making her look more lively, more intense than everyone else. And that is that I think was masterful production.
And I think I read that she had something in her contract that she got to keep her costumes.
Well, they were fashionable.
Yeah. I think overall the production is pretty solid. Definitely a lot went into the costumes. But to the point of the dorm room, I didn't really think about that. and I can't speak to Harvard. I don't know what that would look like. But the dorm rooms I've seen wouldn't even fit most of her luggage. But the and I'm curious about them letting her keep her dog with her on campus. That's interesting. It's a little dog, but still, it's
Therapy dog.
yes. There you go. Her what do they call that? A emotional support dog.
Just a sport animal.
Yes.
Dog was a great actor in the movie. I forgot to say that.
Oh yeah.
Anything you could drop kick over your back fence, you could not consider a dog.
What was the what was his name? What was the dog's name? Was
Bruiser.
Mooney was Bruiser, and Lily played Rufus, which I guess was Paulette's dog.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far we talked a little bit before, and I think this does kind of go under production. The direction was very Elle-centric, and yes, some of the acting could have been a little stronger. But I feel like, again, given that focus, there were only a few that I felt were jarringly one note. There were a couple that were jarringly one note, but most of them, yeah, they worked. They just might not have been as memorable as they could have been. But it is an interesting cast overall. Linda Cardellini's almost unrecognizable with that weird frizzy perm. But anyway, and well, I guess makeup and hair is a big part of this one too. That was a big part and was well done.
Well, as far as production goes, I thought the production was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I do think from high school to college, it showed the different periods pretty well, and also I'm not sure as far as Harvard goes, what it looks like or whatnot, but it was fairly believable to a certain extent. I mean, there are obviously inconsistencies that, as Brandon has alluded to apparently because of a what is legal?
Yeah, watch the. Actually, I'll text it to y'all. But yeah, watch the Legal Eagle coverage of the film.
Yeah,
he has some fun coverage when it comes to. He doesn't do them as often as he used to.
yeah.
But he does. He used to do a lot of these analyses of a real lawyer analyzes movies to see how realistic they are.
Was
And
this
this one a B?
Was it Devin who did this one, or one of his other?
No, it was him.
Okay,
He did that one. He did that one a while back. So
okay. Yeah, I don't remember if I've seen any of their their analyses of movies. I don't remember if I've
I
watched.
love it. Like My Cousin Vinny, they did that one, and
I've heard. Yeah,
he did a lot of them. They were fun.
Yeah.
His film analysis are the fun part. The other stuff that he does is much darker and a lot more depressing.
yeah, very
but,
informative.
very informative. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but I do think that there is definitely a fashion sense that goes on in this movie, and a certain modicum of decorum, as far as definitely some memorable moments like the bend and snap. I think I'll kind of remember that. And the fact that she walks into the courtroom all like in pink. I hate the color pink, but yeah, he doesn't wear it well. You know,
She makes pink work.
yeah, she makes pink work, and that's saying a lot coming from me. So, but in any case, I do think it worked well as a small court case, and though I haven't seen the sequel in a while, I'm definitely willing to dive into it in the future.
You didn't hit the music, did you?
Haven't hit the music yet, so let's talk about music. What did y'all think about the music? I know it had kind of a soundtrack.
Oh, this would have been a good one for Jacob's category of for the Versus Awards for that found music.
It did have some good found music, definitely.
And Perfect Day was greatly placed in that, both the beginning and at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And definitely, I think of this movie when I hear that song. And that shows that also reflects not just well on the song, but the movie. When I think of both in a positive light, there are some times where I have a very negative reaction to a song because of the movie relationship, but this is not that case.
I'm sure Dave is happy that they had one in here called "Sound of Milwaukee," but and of course, you got "You Sexy Thing" by Hot Chocolate. I always love hearing that song. That's always fun. There's some good stuff in there. I have to admit that song aside, I don't know most of these songs, but I think they were very well suited to the movie. They were used well. And then you got the score by Rolf Kent. He did I think it was a decent score. Nothing I'd write home about, but it was good.
Yeah, I would say so. Did anyone else have anything to add about the music? Tammy, did you notice any of the music?
No, I didn't really notice it too much.
Okay. Brandon, did you have anything to say about the music?
Just what I've said before.
Okay. So,
and what Kim said at the beginning.
Heading into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. So let's start with you, Jake.
Okay. Well, as we've already established, by far the best established character is Elle. And she is mostly very likable. I mean, I kind of like Emmett. He's a pretty cool dude. And a couple of the others are pretty good. I mean, once you get to know Vivian, she's pretty cool, but she's definitely not cool at the beginning. I'm going to hold off on using the word I almost said. But there's a couple of likable characters, but mostly it is Reese's movie. It is Elle's movie, so I'll give her that. As far as favorite scenes, again, I love the moment where Warner sees her on campus and his jaw hits the floor and he's just like, why are you here? And it's like, it just amused me. And yes, under different circumstances, that could have come across as incredibly creepy and stalkerish on her part, and he would have had every right to feel that way. But we already knew he was a douche, so it was fun kind of seeing that reaction. And I do like the moment in the trial where where it all falls into place for Elle, and she realizes that okay, this girl just lied to me, and gets back on track. And I did like that moment. And there's a couple other good moments too, but I guess I'll go with those.
Okay. What about you, Brandon?
Well, Rufus, not Rufus, Bruiser is my favorite character in this.
Of course it is.
I mean, Bruiser's, I mean, the Mooney has actually been in 3 films, two features and a short. So Mooney actually does reprise Bruiser the dog in Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde, and then does a short called Mr. Chihuahua Presents Backrooms Vacation, which is odd that's a 2024 one. That dog could not be around. That must have used previous footage. I cannot think that dog would still have been alive.
I think I read something about how he passed away at a ripe old age, but
yeah, he lived till 2016.
Yeah, 2024. I don't think that dog was still around. Let me see here.
Dog passed in 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
But apparently they used him for that short later on. But yeah, that one, and of course, I mean, Elle is a natural character to say. I mean, that's the character that you're put through to like, and Reese Witherspoon does a great job presenting it. But as far as other characters in there, obviously Bruiser, and obviously Elle's father, just because it entertains me. The line that he said about law students at the beginning, and the fact that he has a martini in hand at every time, and including when he's in the courtroom, the fact that he managed to get through to the courtroom to sit down with the martini in hand.
Right.
That, to me, that's gutsy.
Okay. Is that pretty much it then?
Oh yeah, it was a favorite scene, I guess. I like the I like the party scene where she was embarrassed, but she decided to double down and go straight at it, to the point where she just went straight over to the college bookstore in the bunny outfit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one part where she mentioned like the 4 hours, and then Vivian just gives him a death stare. Yeah.
Okay. Heading over to you, Tammy. Favorite character or characters and her favorite scene?
I forgot his name now. The right, what's his name? His right hand man, the one that gave her all the advice right at the beginning about the teachers.
Oh,
Emmett.
Emmett.
Huh? Kevin.
Emmett.
Okay. Yeah, I liked him because, he didn't even know who she was or anything else right at the beginning when she came out and she was all flustered, and he took a moment and told her about the different teachers and what they expect and everything, and he had no idea who she was, and then when they had to go find the ex-wife, and they went there together.
Mm-hmm.
And they were picking on each other and everything, and
She called him a butthead.
But he's always I like him because he backed her up. It's almost like right from the very beginning he backed her up, but I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So
I think Luke Wilson has always been a bit underrated. He's always been kind of he's always been in the shadow of his brother. Even though I actually like Luke Wilson more than I like Owen Wilson when it comes to the acting and roles he's done. But like I say, I feel like he's always overshadowed by his brother in performances.
Yeah, I just liked how he was in it, and scenes. Well, I definitely do like it. When she was gonna leave, and she's telling, she's going on about what happened and everything, and then that lady professor was in there, and she turned around and she's like, after all this, you're just gonna let one instance or let one thing ruin your the rest of your life. You know, I thought um I like that, and I like how you said Evan is his name.
Emmett.
Emmett. Okay, sorry. How Emmett caught the pool guy on the stand. How he did it so good. He just da 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 da, and the dude just he fumbled big time because he was lying. You can't keep up a lie. If you're lying, you need a moment to think, and so that you can keep your lie going.
Yep.
So,
Right.
but I thought that was totally cool, and I like how Elle got her confidence when she realized that she had a way to prove that the daughter was lying. And she suddenly got her confidence. That was good.
Okay. And me, myself, I think the person that I liked the most was Reese herself. Partially because she's the person that had to almost do a whole Yui about her life, and there was definitely a lot of growth that her character showed. Having to transition from stalker to lawyer.
Well, actually, real quick, as far as where she started from to where she ended up, we've mentioned a couple of times the scene where she tells her parents what she's going to do.
Oh, God.
And I came across the quote here. It's like, her mother's like, honey, you were first runner-up at the Miss Hawaiian Tropics contest. Why are you going to throw that all away? And Elle's like, going to Harvard is the only way I'm going to get the love of my life back. Her father's like, oh, sweetheart, you don't need law school. Law school is for people who are boring and ugly and serious. And you, Button, are none of those things. It's like, I'm sure she's like, gee, thanks. But,
yeah. Not exactly parents that are willing to back their daughter up.
Right.
Actually, I think they do back their daughter up. It's just that they are very similar in a lot of ways. They look at that because I think that they look at that themselves as, why would you want to do that? That doesn't make sense. Right. I mean, they wouldn't consider themselves ugly, serious, and the other one
boring
either. So why would they think that for their daughter? No, I think that they believe what they're doing is they're proud of their daughter. They're just their own thing.
They're just questioning her future choices.
Right.
Because it's not exactly what they were used to their daughter being able to do.
Right.
which is how they raised her, because that's probably what they were thinking. Like,
The way I look at it, I don't know why, but I just thought of this from Into the Woods when Prince Charming was like, I was raised to be charming, you know, um,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel like she was raised to be. She was raised to be charming, beautiful, um, and that's it. But she definitely went against the grain, and that's why I think I like her character the most out of all of them. Even though um, I do like Emmett and what he did for her and um, whatnot. I do think that when Jennifer Coolidge's character finally does the bend and snap thing for the mailman. I thought that was funny.
When she snaps right into his nose.
Yeah, and I think she calls her and she's like, I just did this and broke his nose and everything thing. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Uh, I knew someone who did this and this and this, and they still love them for it." Um, and I don't know why, but but I thought it was funny when her friends showed up to the court thing and started like uh, saying hello to everyone and pissing the judge off. They were so totally acting like friends that I probably wouldn't have wanted at my court proceedings because they acted like they were tourists.
They kind of were.
But in any case, I like the fact that she was able to trip up the daughter. In the end, I do like the fact that she never gave up. You know, things of that nature. And I think those are some of my favorites. I do like the fact that she made Warren's jaw drop, and when she got to college. And I do like the fact that that she basically turned him down in the end too. You know. So, other than that, did anyone else have anything else to add? Oh, and I think every time the dog did something along with her, um, I kid you not, the dog was cute.
When they're in the beauty salon and they've got the dog made up like he's getting pampered too, I thought that was kind of hilarious.
No,
I like at the end where he had a little hat on.
yeah,
Very end when they graduated.
Oh, the
No,
little graduation cap.
yeah. I thought that was kind of cute. Even though I'm kind of like one of those people who thinks it's redonkulous every time people dress up their dogs or things of that nature.
Oh yeah.
Some of that can get kind of like overboard.
Oh yeah.
But in any case, if no one else has anything else to add, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion for the evening. I'm glad that I put this forward. I guess I'm not as ashamed of liking this, but damned if it wasn't a big thing that chicks should love the chick flicks and men should love the manly films. You know, at one point, a point in time, there was. I mean, it was. It's. I mean, it was something that men should like the action films and the westerns and you know the movies that men should not should be proud of. You know, war films. Those were all, often manly films. You know.
Yeah, sure. And I'll admit, some of the ones I considered briefly for this month fall neatly into those categories. The problem is, a lot of them, the fact that I would be ashamed of them is not so much that, although that is part of it, is that a lot of those films were headed up by people that I would be ashamed to say, oh yeah, that person's awesome. You know, it's like there's some really problematic people that head up some of those movies. I decided I didn't want to go that route. Yeah.
But in any case, hopefully, if you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it, and then come back and let us know what you thought of our discussion, what you thought of the movie, and vice versa. I'm sure we'll comment back. But on that note, everyone say good night.
Did we say what next week's movie is?
Oh, next week's movie, I do believe, is Tammy's choice, and that would be Sing.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, he is.
Well,
Hopefully
that one.
So get prepared, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, and no ending theme for us anymore because we're on the freebie. But and I somehow lost the file for the ending theme.
Okay.